Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I won't lie, Call of Duty once again has me scratching my head a little bit, wondering what exactly are we doing here? I'm not one for, going all in on the rage bait stuff, right? I think it's kind of corny. It's just a waste of energy getting upset at, certain things, right? But I also am a man who appreciates some consistency. And Call of Duty today, with some of the new updates they announced coming here in Season 3, is not really lining up with what they said they were planning on doing for this year. And like I said, it kind of just has me wondering, what exactly are we doing here? This starts with this new reveal today. Of course, earlier on today, we covered the new Battle Pass reveal. They detailed all the operators and the blueprints and the skins coming with the new pass. Nothing too out of the ordinary. That video is up in full if you want to go and check that out. What was also included in that blog was some previews for the upcoming store bundles. Now, I've said time and again, I think the store in COD kind of ridiculous to a certain extent. I think a lot of it is overpriced for what it is, paying a ton for skins you can't even see because it's a first-person game. Keep in mind, you're going to lose these skins if you're a free-to-play player going into Warzone next year with the, assumed hard reset coming. So, not a big store guy for Call of Duty here. But one of the new bundles coming is this. It's a half-baked themed bundle with Thurgood Jenkins in it, and it's Dave Chappelle. A Dave Chappelle operator bundle is coming to Black Ops 7 and Warzone during Season 3. Now, outright, I don't think this is the most outlandish thing we could have had. We have seen far more ridiculous things happen in Call of Duty. We had Beavis and Butthead and Ninja Turtles and all sorts of absurd skins and crossovers and collabs happen over the past few years of COD. This, by comparison, is relatively tame, but it still has me wondering, why is this super necessary, especially after Call of Duty seemingly shut down any, somewhat outlandish or ridiculous crossovers happening in the future, specifically here in the future of Black Ops 7. And this was just a few weeks ago. Back at the start of March, Detonated ended up posting this, saying, Season 2 is the first season since 2021 to not feature any kind of crossover update. The last time this happened was all the way back in Black Ops Cold War. And Call of Duty actually outright responded to this. This was when Call of Duty started to really get very active on Twitter, when perception was pretty down on COD in general, and they started getting a lot more active. They created the Call of Duty community management account that's been going kind of crazy over the past few weeks here. But Call of Duty responded this in regards directly to crossovers, which is what this half-baked Dave Chappelle operator bundle is. Call of Duty said, on March 6th, we love doing collabs, and I think there's plenty of opportunity for some very cool collaboration updates and crossovers in Call of Duty. But we also want to make sure that they are the right fit. Sometimes that means letting a season stand on its own. So this, from Call of Duty's own words, says we don't want to do collabs right now that don't have an overall fit in Black Ops 7. Now again, I don't think a Dave Chappelle operator bundle is that outlandish, but it doesn't really fit still by all metrics that we've got going on here in Black Ops 7. A half-baked operator bundle doesn't really fit with the overall theme here. Now, there's plenty of other opportunities for bundles that would fit in a Black Ops theme. This is a Microsoft game now. You could have a Gears of War crossover, a Halo crossover, things like that absolutely would work. It's a little bit different, something we're not used to seeing in COD, like we're not used to seeing half-baked in COD, but those fit more in line with what Black Ops 7 is as a military FPS. Half-baked? Not so much, in my opinion. Now, if I had to guess, they're doing this because it's half-baked. April's coming up, 420's coming up. But again, I'm focusing on the consistency here. Not even a month ago, Call of Duty said they want to do collabs and crossovers that fit in the game. I don't think this falls under that. They also responded to another Detonated post talking about the Get High mode. Of course, in the dev talk earlier on this week, the devs confirmed Free Run was coming back. That'll be like the parkour LTM that we've got coming up as a replacement to Get High. And to this, the Call of Duty community management account said, Treyarch's cooking up some different stuff to put your movement skills to the test later in Season 3. That's the Free Run stuff. The 420 vibes are not going full blast this time around. I would read that and interpret that as they're not really going to do too many 420 references and updates for that. That's more so Infinity Ward's thing, and Sledgehammer played into it a little bit last year, and Get High actually ended up being a very big success because it wasn't just themed around the 420 stuff. But Half-Baked kind of directly ties into that, so like not going full blast is still doing something that also doesn't line up with what you said not even a month ago. So the consistency in their wording here, the consistency in their community responses here isn't really lining up, and that's really what's making me scratch my head here going, what exactly is the plan here? Because you're telling us one thing, and then a few weeks later the opposite's happening. You're doing something completely different. And so even though this isn't some ridiculous skin happening in game, it's not Beavis and Butthead or some ridiculous cartoon that has no place being in COD, it makes no sense whatsoever, it still is not lining up with what the vision is that they're trying to paint right now for what Black Ops 7 is going to be as we round out this year. Now, a little post-edit Zach here, because Call of Duty's community manager account did actually respond to some of the concerns, some of the responses to this bundle so far. This person replied to the original Charlie Intel tweet saying, I don't see anything super crazy about this one. Still a little weird, but not as overkill as some of the 420 stuff as last year. And the Call of Duty account says, we know a lot of players enjoy them, but we have scaled back the 420 celebrations this year just to a single bundle for fans of the Half-Baked movie. No events or LTMs this time. So yeah, as assumed, this is like their 420 crossover thing. Again, going back to the theme of the video though, just goes a little against, I feel like, what they've said previously their plan was for content. At the same time, definitely not the craziest thing we've seen, but ultimately it's gonna get attention. And I think T-Dog puts this really well. He posted earlier today saying, okay, in all seriousness, does Call of Duty not realize that the mainstream video game media and social media outlets are gonna cover this new Dave Chappelle skin? It's gonna make the game look horrible, even if they've done a good job with content, and the community sentiment towards COD will now be again, wow, they don't listen at all and they're lying to us again, further digging us into a larger hole. Modern Warfare 4 has to be a great reset. Simple as that. And I agree here. This is going to be a talking point. You know, the larger accounts will go out and post this and it'll get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on Twitter and on other social media stuff. And it's going to be like, oh, COD's doing another ridiculous skin. You know, the non-COD gaming scene is going to look at this and saying, oh yeah, you know, they're doing the same stuff they've been doing. Like, how does that even work? They're not paying attention to it, but then they see something like this and it's just not the game being painted in a good light whatsoever. Even though throughout this year so far, they've done pretty well at sticking on theme, on brands. They've been really good with communication, and genuinely I think those that are interested in Black Ops 7, and I get that it does not appeal to everyone, and that's why the game's momentum is really not there this year, but for those that are interested in the game, I think they've done a very good job at appeasing this player base with the updates and the content and the communication thus far. They've stepped it up from this time last year objectively. But when you do things like this, it's a harder reset and it's a harder walk back than the good that you've been doing for months on end, because it's drastic and it's going to be dramatic. And like I said, not trying to play into the whole rage bait thing. Oh, this is going to ruin the whole franchise. Like, that's nonsense, but it's not a good look. It's going to have a larger impact than you might initially think, where it does seem like they're going back on their word. I think it diminishes what their word stands for, which is already, they're not super trustworthy. From the community POV, there's not a lot of trust between what Activision and what Call of Duty Studios say versus what the community thinks will actually happen and what they want to believe. So this is not helping that situation, and that's a relationship. There's a trust level there that you have to rebuild here if they want to win back players with Modern Warfare 4 in a pivotal year with GTA 6 on the horizon and the franchise really not doing great right now as a whole. Stuff like this is certainly not helping, and I don't think it lines up with what they say they want to do with this game. So it makes me ask Call of Duty, what exactly is going on here? Like, saying one thing and then doing the opposite is not helping your case here, and it just doesn't really make anything better for the grand situation here with the state of the franchise as a whole. So definitely not a video I was expecting to make today. I didn't think I was waking up today and talking about that a half-baked Dave Chappelle operator skin was going to be coming to COD, and that it was going to be a new dramatic thing happening in the community. But hey, here we are. That said, that's gonna wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, nonetheless, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. If you're new here, you want to ensure you're always in the know for everything going on in COD, the good, the bad, and everything in between, feel free to hit that subscribe button. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.